Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome again to Week 3, Lecture 6. In this lecture, we will be speaking about the non-assertive predication and negation and uh, non-assertive predication. So, while yes no questions normally challenge the validity of the predication as a whole, negation rejects it. What does this mean? Valid challenges the validity of the predication. Take, for example, the uh, yes no question: is he a pilot? Now, here, by saying so, the predication needs to be uh, verified either negatively with a no answer or positively with a yes answer. So by saying is he a pilot, we are expecting either the verification of the predication with a yes answer, and this time we are giving a positive reply, or with a negative one, and this time we are expecting a no answer. Okay. The In the case with the negative sentences is different because the predication is demolished. The predication is refuted. Okay, the predication is is distracted because what we reject the predication at all. So, for example, we say he is not a pilot. He is not a pilot. So we are rejecting the idea that he is a pilot. So we refuted this predication. There is a similarity between yes/no questions and negative sentences, in that both of them involve an operator. So there is an operator in both types of sentences. Negative sentences require the insertion of not between the operator and the predication. Whereas yes/no questions, they use the operator at the very beginning of the sentence. Okay, so questions and negations are also similar to each other in that they both belong to the non-assertive system. So a sentence can be non-assertive in one of two ways. So we have two ways to consider a sentence as non-assertive. Either it is a negative or it is a question. So, like, look at this diagram. Now, the English sentence, okay, we have two nodes: the assertion node and the non-assertion node. So, in the assertion node, the top one, as you see, we have a positive and declarative sentence. So, the sentence is here is positive and declarative. So, like when we say, for example, he tested positive for coronavirus. He tested positive for coronavirus. So this means this sentence is a positive and declarative one. We are declaring something, and by saying it is positively. Okay, and this sentence has another node, which is the non-assertion. The non-assertion springs into interrogative, and which can be positive and negative, and it springs to negative. So we have two nodes: the interrogative node and the negative node. The interrogative node springs into positive and into negative. Okay. So as you see, that the both interrogative and negative stem or spring from the same node, which is the non-assertion node. So which makes them belong to the same system. So they belong to the non-assertion system. Okay, so assertion and non or assertive and non-assertive predication. We can provide another evidence for the close relationship between yes-no questions and negation. They both associate with a set of words which we may call non-assertive forms. So like the any series, like anyone, anybody, any, anywhere, and some other words like yet, okay, much, and the like. These in turn, the non-assertive words and the non-assertive forms in turn contrast with corresponding assertive forms. They contrast with the some series, like when we say some, somebody, somewhere, okay, someone, something, and other words like already, like some extent, a lot of, okay, which are these words are associated with positive statements. Now consider the following sentences. 1A, she hasn't finished her thesis yet. B, has she finished her thesis? 2A, he doesn't want any food. 2B, does he want any food? So, a sentence can be non-assertive in one of two ways, by being negative, as in 1A, and 2A, as in she hasn't finished her thesis yet and he doesn't want any food. Or by being a question, as in 1B, has she finished her thesis, and in 2B, like does he want any food? Okay? In 1A and 2A, the validity of the predication is rejected. Since these sentences 1A and 2A are both negative, the validity of the predication is rejected. The validity of the predication is demolished. Okay, so the predication is negative. Okay, it is negative. Whereas in 1B and 2B, the validity of the predication is challenged, which means, okay, we are required to verify the validity of the predication. So the addressee is required to verify the validity of the predication by providing a positive answer or a negative one. While most words can be used equally in assertive and non-assertive predications, some determiners, some pronouns, and some adverbs have a specifically assertive or non-assertive use. So look at the table below. As you see, we have two columns. In the first column, we have the assertive sentences, and the next column, we have the non-assertive sentences. Pam bought some apples. So like you see, this is a positive declarative statement, okay? And in which we have one assertive form, which is the word some. Now, if we want to change this sentence into the negative, we have to change the assertive form as well. So we have to use its counterpart in the non-assertive system. So we should say, Pam didn't buy any apples. So you see here in the first example, we have some, which is the assertive form. In the other sentence, we have any, which is used as a replacement of some, because some cannot be used in the non-assertive system. So some is used only in the assertive system, whereas any is used only in the non-assertive system. Okay, another example. I was speaking to somebody. As you see, somebody is an assertive form, and it is used in this positive declarative sentence. I wasn't speaking to anybody. So I cannot say I wasn't speaking to somebody, because somebody is only used in assertive sentences. Okay, so if I want to negate this sentence, I should provide a non-assertive item to replace the assertive one that is used in the positive declarative statement. So I should say I wasn't speaking to anybody. He's still at school. Still, this is another assertive form which is used only in positive declarative sentences. So if I want to negate the sentence, I have to replace still with another non-assertive with a non-assertive form. So I should say he is not at school any longer. So as you see, still is not used. We used any longer instead. His mother is coming too. His mother isn't coming either. So to in the positive is replaced with either in the negative. I like her a great deal. A great deal. I don't like her much. A great deal is replaced with much. I saw him somewhere. I didn't see him anywhere. Somewhere and anywhere. She helped to some extent. She didn't help at all. To some extent is replaced with at all. They have arrived already. They haven't arrived yet. So already is replaced with yet. He has been a long way. He hasn't been far. So a long way, far. Of course, this list of the assertive and non-assertive forms is not complete. Okay, it is not complete. So we have some other words, and so you have to look for the other words. Okay, because now in the book you are introduced to these words only, and we are going to, you are required to know about these words. Okay, now when we negate sentences, not only do we negate the verb, but also we change the assertive forms into their non-assertive counterparts. So bear this in your mind. When you negate a sentence, you have to look at the sentence and you see if there are any assertive items, assertive forms, then you should negate the verb as well as you replace these assertive forms with into the non-assertive counterparts. So now try to negate the following sentences and make other changes that then become necessary. This is for you, and you have to answer. You have to negate these sentences and you do the necessary changes. So let me read the sentences. This applies to some of the people here already. This applies to some of the people here already. Julia is still living at this address. It helps us in our daily work to some extent. Macron tests positive for coronavirus too. There are a lot of people in the stadium. Coronavirus has already outbroken in Egypt. So now try to negate these sentences, and of course you should make the necessary changes. Of course you should look if there are any assertive items, and you should change them into their non-assertive counterparts. Although the main markers of non-assertion are negative and interrogative clauses, it happens sometimes that the sum series are conversely used in negative and interrogative clauses, and that the any series are conversely used in the positive declarative clauses. So you remember I said from the beginning that we have certain words, certain pronouns, determiners, okay, and adverbs that are specifically used in the assertive sentences, and some others are specifically used in the non-assertive sentences. Now, it happens sometimes that the sum series, when I say sum series, I mean some, someone, somebody, somewhere, something. The sum series can be used in negative and interrogative clauses. Okay, now this is an exception. Now, how they can be used in the negative and interrogative clauses, which means that they can be used in the non-assertive system. They are specifically made to be used in the assertive system. However, in certain cases, they can be used in the non-assertive system. The same thing applies for the any series. They can be used in the assertive system. Okay, now consider the following examples. Look at the following examples. Number one, X, okay, I don't want to tell a name of a person, so I used X. X contributed more than anyone to the destruction of Iraqi economy. So you see, here we have a positive declarative, a seemingly positive declarative sentence. So in a declarative sentence, we are supposed to use assertive forms. However, as you see, we used a non-assertive form. Anyone, we used anyone. Okay, so this is an exception. Now we will see, we will see in a minute what makes us to use a non-assertive item where we are supposed to use an assertive one. Number two, did somebody call last night? This is a question, and in questions we are not expected to use assertive forms like somebody. However, we used it here. Okay, and this is exception. Number three, would you like some apple juice? And this is another question. Would you like some apple juice? And we are expected to use a non-assertive item, but here we use an assertive one. Okay, now let's see the justification for all this. The use of the non-assertive anyone in the first sentence is related to the fact that the basic meaning is negative, as appears in the paraphrase. So, the basic meaning of the sentence, X contributed more than anyone to the destruction of Iraqi economy, the basic meaning is negative. So, since it is the basic meaning that counts most. So, since the basic meaning of the sentence is negative, and how can we tell that the basic meaning of the sentence is negative? Now, we paraphrase the sentence. Let's paraphrase the sentence. So, if we want to paraphrase the sentence, it reads as follows. Nobody contributed more to the destruction of Iraqi economy than X. So the basic meaning is negative. So we are negating that, okay, no one or nobody contributed more to the destruction of Iraqi economy than X. So the basic meaning is negative, and this helps us to use a non-assertive item, which is anybody. Okay, which is anybody. Okay, so it is the basic meaning of the whole sentence which ultimately determines the choice of the sum or any series. So you have to bear this in your mind, that it is the meaning, the basic meaning of the whole sentence which determines the choice of the sum or any series. So since the basic meaning of this sentence number one is negative, then we should use a non-assertive item like anyone. Okay. While the use of the assertive somebody in the second sentence, did somebody call last night, can be explained in terms of positive presupposition. What does this mean? This means that the speaker presupposes, okay, the speaker believes that somebody called him last night. So somebody here suggests that the speaker expected a call last night. So for example, he was promised by a friend to call him. So when he came home, he asked, okay, did somebody call last night? Because he was expecting, he was presupposing that somebody would call him last night. So he used somebody because he was expecting a positive answer. Okay, so to say, did somebody call last night? Yes, your friend called last night. You can say so because what he was expecting the positive reply. Okay. Okay, the use of the assertive some in the third sentence can be explained as a sincere invitation to lead the addressee to accept it. So in the third one, would you like some apple juice? Okay, the speaker is being nice. The speaker is being polite. Okay, so to be polite here and to offer to invite somebody to drink or eat something, now he needs to use an assertive item in the question. Would you like some apple juice? He is being nice and he is inviting the addressee sincerely to accept drinking apple juice. Okay? Now, if he said, for example, if he said, would you like any apple juice? Here, the speaker is not nice. Okay? The speaker is not being polite. Because what? When to use the any series in the question, it means that you are giving, you are not leading the addressee to accept. You are not leading the addressee to accept. So when you hear somebody saying, would you like any apple juice? Okay, so it means that he is not sincere. Okay, the invitation is not sincere invitation. So you have to say, no, thank you. But if the speaker says, would you like some apple juice? So this means that the speaker is being polite and sincere at the same time. So he is leading you to accept his invitation. So that's why he uses the assertive item some. Okay. Thank you all for joining me, and that's all for today.